Christmas is supposed to mean peace. For millions of people, it represents silence, warmth, and the idea that conflict pauses at least for one night. But history tells a very different story. Because while families gathered around dinner tables, soldiers in other parts of the world were still pulling triggers. While churches rang bells, artillery continued to fire. And while the world remembers Christmas as a moment when war stopped, records show that, in many places, it never did. Some battles intensified, some executions took place, and some of the deadliest decisions were made precisely when the world expected calm. This is not a story about belief. It's a story about contradiction. Because if Christmas truly stopped war, then why do historical records show people still died on that day? And why are those stories rarely told? When people think about Christmas during war, one image usually comes to mind: the Christmas Truce of 1914. British and German soldiers stepping out of their trenches, sharing cigarettes, singing songs, even playing football in no man's land. This event was real. It is well documented. Letters were written, photos were taken, official reports confirmed it happened. But here's what's often left out: that truce did not happen everywhere. In many sectors of the front line, fighting never stopped. Gunfire continued. Shells were still fired. Some commanders were furious, not because the truce failed, but because it succeeded. They saw it as dangerous. As weakening discipline. As reminding soldiers of their shared humanity. And after that Christmas, strict orders were given. No more fraternizet, I don't. And no more pauses. The war would not stop again. While parts of Europe experienced temporary silence, other regions saw something else entirely. Fighting continued in Eastern Europe. Operations moved forward in colonial territories. Naval warfare did not pause. In some cases, Christmas was used strategically. Commanders believed enemy forces would relax, lower their guard, expect peace. That assumption was exploited. Attacks were launched, movements were made, not because Christmas was ignored, but because it was predictable. War planners understood something uncomfortable. Symbolic days do not stop war. They can be used by it, and the people caught in the middle paid the price. One of the darkest patterns in wartime history is how often executions took place during holidays. Not publicly, not ceremonially, quietly. Prisoners of war were shot, accused deserters were punished, civilians were executed under occupation. In some cases, these executions occurred deliberately during Christmas, not out of cruelty alone, but calculation. Fewer witnesses, less attention, more distraction. Holiday silence made violence easier to hide. Records exist, court documents, military logs, but these events rarely appear in popular history. They disrupt the story people want to believe, that Christmas stands outside war. History suggests otherwise. In December 1944, as Christmas approached, one of World War I's most brutal battles began. The Battle of the Bulge. It was not an accident. German forces launched a massive surprise offensive through the Ardennes forest right before Christmas. Why then? Because Allied troops expected reduced activity. Because winter weather was assumed to slow movement. Because morale was focused on the holiday. Instead, thousands died. Entire towns were destroyed. Civilians were caught in the crossfire. And in one of the most infamous incidents, American prisoners of war were executed during the same period. Christmas did not stop the war. It became part of it. So why is Christmas remembered as peaceful? Why does one truce overshadow countless deaths? Because stories matter. The Christmas truce fits a narrative people want to believe: that humanity eventually prevails, that war pauses when morality intervenes. The deaths don't fit that narrative. They are inconvenient, uncomfortable, hard to reconcile, so they fade. Not erased, but softened. History isn't just written by victors. It's shaped by what people are willing to remember. And sometimes, forgetting is easier. If Christmas did not stop war, why do we keep telling that story? If peace was the exception, Why is it remembered as the rule? Some historians argue it offers hope, others argue it offers denial, and some suggest it serves another purpose: to make war feel more humane than it actually is. Because admitting that people died on Christmas forces us to confront something harder: that symbols don't stop violence, that belief doesn't override strategy, and that war does not respect the calendar. There is no secret order that says war must continue on Christmas, no hidden directive, but there is a pattern of selective memory, a pattern of simplified history, a pattern where comforting stories survive and darker ones fade. Some believe this happens naturally, others believe it happens intentionally, not to deceive, but to preserve morale. Because if people fully understood how often war ignored even its most sacred days, they might question it more deeply. So the question isn't whether Christmas stopped war. The question is why we keep pretending it did, and what other truths history has quietly wrapped in silence.